Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on last week's TNA Impact Wrestling event. Sorry about the delay. Been battling with asthma attacks for the last couple of days. Work and what have you. And here we go with some of the TNA Wrestling news. Former TNA Tag Team Champion and X Division Champion Alex Shelley has finished his run with TNA. F4W Online reports that he will be leaving the company for his own decision once his contract has fully expired. And by now it surely has. I feel for the person in TNA who wasted time producing those reintroduction videos for the Motor City Machine Guns the last 2 months. And Shelley is a talented performer, but his push was ridiculously inconsistent at times and non-existent in TNA. Ric Flair has major heat with the TNA management over conduct issues outside the ring. Mike Johnson of PW Insider reported that Flair has been accused of acting inappropriate to the point of being banned from one bar in Orlando and not paying tabs at bars frequently by TNA personnel. The most recent incident occurred at a hotel bar that TNA has a long-term relationship with in the Orlando area. And notice from the live broadcast, Flair was replaced by Taz for the gut check challenge stuff. And that explains why Flair was pulled from the house shows last weekend. You could never rule out the possibility of the two sides making peace, given that this is the wrestling industry. But I can tell you that more than one source has stated in the past that Flair has been more trouble than he's worth for the company. TNA X Division Champion Austin Aries has re-signed with the company, with TNA. Terms of the deal were not disclosed. Austin A-Double is having a stellar year. TNA President Dixie Carter wrote on Twitter, "Very proud to have just re-signed him. Very proud of him. Thanks to .NET reader Chris Johnson." A great signing by TNA. Aries has shined throughout his latest run with the company. He's one of the most consistent, entertaining performers in the company, and it's good to see TNA featuring him prominently. TNA President Dixie Carter also announced on Twitter that she will address AJ Styles, the scandals that started by Christopher Daniels and Kazarian at the beginning of Impact Wrestling on this coming Thursday. And TNA seems to be attempting to capitalize on Monday web traffic and or interest in WWE Raw by revealing so many details about their show on Monday. I just hope that they have something for Thursday, because they need to do a better job than creating a buzz on show day this time around. And now for they're announcing for this coming Thursday's June the 7th episode. They announced that Bobby Roode, Christopher Daniels, and Kazarian will face the team of AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, and Sting in a 6-man tag on Thursday's live edition of Impact Wrestling. And you can watch the teaser video on youtube.com/Impact Wrestling. And this will be the go-home show for Sunday's Slammiversary pay-per-view. So, TNA is going with the 6 wrestlers who will compete in the TNA title match and TNA tag title match at the pay-per-view. Shannon Moore has announced through Twitter that he will not be returning to TNA. For you asking, I will not be back on Impact, Moore wrote. Got some injuries to take care of and a project him and his wife, Julie Youngberg, are working on. Working on having a baby is the first on his list with her. Very important to us right now. And you can follow Shannon on Twitter at twitter.com, the Shannon brand. By the way, they also have Facebook accounts. I personally occasionally do chat with them both, but normally not about wrestling. That's always fun with the families of wrestlers. Shannon's wife is a longtime designer, WWE designer, seamstress, who was previously married to the former WWE star, Darren Drozdoff. Pukester. Shannon also noted that his gas chamber ink tattoo business has made over $1 million in business. So congratulations to him on that, and the best of luck to the couple with their attempt to start a family. Happy birthday goes to James Storm. Even though it's belated, it was this past Friday. He turned 35, and he was born June the 1st in 1977. Storm appeared on the Impact Wrestling show on Thursday night and teased that he will have a decision about his future soon. Obviously, he'll be returning to the ring at some point. And that was done by video from his home and not live at the show. TNA is now advertising for June the 7th also a 4-way knockouts match, which will take place on Thursday's Impact Wrestling television show. To determine the challenger for the knockouts title match versus Gail Kim, TNA is also advertising a contract signing between Bully Ray and Joseph Park for their match at Slammiversary tag matches as the show's main event. There's no word yet as to which knockouts will be in the 4-way match. Here's hoping that TNA does a better job of making that show seem relevant on the day of the show than they did last week. There are reports that are going around that Chris Sabin will be following his tag team partner, Alex Shelley, and leaving TNA when his current deal expires. The unconfirmed report states that Sabin has told friends he is leaving when his deal expires this August. But Sabin's girlfriend, none other than Velvet Sky, lucky guy, responded to the reports on Twitter. Quote, "People, Chris Sabin is not, I repeat, not leaving TNA. I'm getting lots of those questions. Please stop believing everything you read." Unquote. TNA Impact Wrestling opens up with, from last week's show on May 31st. They opened up the show with the roster surrounding the ring as Mike Tenay and Taz welcomed us to the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida, as promised. Lumberjack match, Sting versus Bobby Roode. Non-title match, unfortunately. And they go to the ring. Out first comes the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Roode. Sting was out next to a big pop. Bell rings, then they go right at it. Sting took control early on. Roode turned it around with chops in the corner, but Sting wanted more. Sting unloads again on Roode and goes for the Scorpion. Roode made it to the ropes and breaks. Sting attacks him on the apron and sent him out to the Lumberjacks. They throw Roode back in, and Sting misses a Stinger splash in the corner. Roode throws Sting out now, and the heel Lumberjacks beat him up before throwing him back in. Sting fights his way back in himself. Back and forth action until Roode took control again and keeps Sting grounded on the mat. Sting makes a comeback, but misses another splash in the corner and hits a big boot. Roode throws Sting back to the heels, and they work him over. Sting fights him off again as they go to commercial. Back from the break, and Roode is still in control of Sting, getting a close 2 count. Sting made another comeback and nails a Stinger splash in the corner. Roode rolls out of the ring, and the Lumberjacks protect him as he regroups. Sting leaps over the top and takes everyone out. They come back in, and Sting goes for the Scorpion. Roode blocks it and applies the crossface submission. Roode breaks a hold, but goes back to work on Sting. Sting blocks a suplex and drops Roode with a death drop. Sting goes right for the Scorpion again and locks it in. Roode taps out for a Stinger win. After the match, Sting celebrates in the ring when Hulk Hogan's music hit. And he comes out to the stage. Hogan comes out on the stage and gives props to Sting. Hogan announces Sting versus Roode for the World Heavyweight title as the main event at Slammiversary. Mike Tenay and Taz start hyping Hogan's announcement in tonight's show. Daniels versus AJ Styles is still to come, plus Devon defending the TV title against an opponent that the fans chose. Also still to come, Brooke Hogan's official debut. We go to commercial. Back from the break, and it's Madison Rayne is talking about how she and Brooke Hogan will get along just fine. We go to the ring, and where Bully Ray is, and he's looking for Joseph Park, the brother of Abyss. We see Park in the crowd again. Ray runs down Park and wants to fight. He rips into his family. And finally Abyss. Then pisses Park off and he comes to the ring, but security stops him. Ray tells him to let him come on. He's got this under control. He takes full responsibility. Park enters the ring and Ray wants to fight. Ray confesses he left Abyss for dead. Park grabbed Ray by his neck and brings him to his knees. Ray says he will sue if Park hits him. Park backs off and says he won't stoop to Ray's level. Ray calls him and Abyss a coward before leaving the ring. Park takes the fight and says, "Let's fight right now." So much for a fight night challenge. And you know the rules of the fight night. Anybody can challenge anybody, and they must do it. Well, that didn't happen. Well, Ray starts walking back to the ring, but doesn't get in. But he does say he will fight him at Slammiversary. And they say Austin Aries versus Chris Sabin up next as they go to commercial. Back from the break, and we get a Crimson promo video. TNA X Division title match, Chris Sabin versus Austin Aries. They come to the ring and go at it as soon as the bell hits. Trading holds. Aries takes control and nails a big elbow for a pin attempt. Sabin comes back with a 2 count of his own. Aries dumps Sabin to the floor and dives through the ropes on him. They end up on the floor and go at it. Sabin with a suplex off the top rope for a close 2 count. More back and forth action. Sabin slams Aries from a fireman's carry, but Aries counters and rolls him up for the win. My choice is a match of the night. We see backstage video from earlier of Hulk Hogan and Taz talking about gut check. Taz is now a judge, taking the place of Ric Flair. Back to the commercial. Back from the break, and we see footage from yesterday of Taz, Al Snow, and Bruce Pritchard looking at Joey Ryan's gut check tape. They talk about Ryan's character in last week's match against Austin Aries. Up next, Brooke Hogan back to commercial. Back from the break, and Jeremy Borash is backstage with Mr. Anderson. Wait for it. Anderson. RVD, Jeff Hardy, and Robbie E. Well, Jeremy encourages us to keep voting online for Devon's opponent. We go to the ring, and out comes TNA President Dixie Carter. This is the boring segment of the night. Dixie talks about TNA turning 10 years old in a few days at Slammiversary. Dixie is proud of the wrestlers and thanks the fans, saying TNA wouldn't be here without them. Dixie says that Slammiversary TNA will be announcing the very first inductee to the TNA Hall of Fame. Dixie then talks about the Knockouts division. She puts over Brooke Hogan, and out she comes to a mixed reaction from the crowd. The Amazonish girl from Hulk Hogan's loins. I might as well call her the Incredible Hulk. Female version. She-Hulk. How's that sound? Dixie welcomes Brooke and says that she is excited about the things and that she will do for TNA. Brooke then thanks Dixie for her opportunity. She thanks the fans for welcoming her with open arms. Brooke says she grew up in wrestling and loves it as much as Dixie. Brooke says that she has some big yellow boots to fill, but she's taking this serious. Brooke thanks everyone again and hugs Dixie, and that's it. At least we didn't have to hear her sing. We see Kazarian and Daniels watching backstage. They can't believe Dixie didn't talk about the AJ Styles situation. They've got something planned for later. Still to come, Daniels versus Styles. Up next, the TV title match, the back commercial. And then the TV title match is up next, and it's chosen as Jeff Hardy versus Devon. Well, not much of this match because back from the break, and they get more Slammiversary hype. TV champion Devon comes out first and waits to find out who his opponent is, and it's none other than Jeff Hardy. Picked by the fans, and out he comes. Lots of back and forth action with the pin attempts to start. Devon takes control and in the middle of the match until Hardy hits a twist of fate. Hardy goes up top, but Robbie E runs down and interferes with Robbie T. The double beat down. The Robbies attack both men, and the match is thrown out due to interference. Devon fights back and takes both men out. Hardy joins in, and they clear the ring, and they shake hands to end it. Man, they do more than shake hands. They give each other a hug and do that type of thing. And that was the end of that match. And I get a video promo for James Storm at his home. And they even showed his daughter on a horse. And he's got some acreage on land, just like the Hardy Boys. Up next, more from the gut check, back to commercial. And we're back from the break, and we get a video for the feud between AJ, Kazarian, and Daniels. Jeremy Borash is in the ring with Bruce Pritchard, Al Snow, and Taz for our gut check judges. JB brings out Joey Ryan to the ring. Ryan says he is kind of a big deal right now. He is trending worldwide on Twitter. I've never seen it. JB goes to Pritchard first. He talks about Ryan's look and calls him a hell of a talent. Pritchard says Ryan has been in the business for 12 years, and his voice is no. And his vote is no. Al Snow was up next. He said he doesn't like Ryan or his attitude, but he says he has potential, and his vote was yes, so that makes it a 1-1. Well, Taz must vote yes for Ryan to get the contract. Well, JB gives Ryan a chance to cut a promo and save himself. Ryan speaks, and Taz is up next. All he did was run his mouth. And, let's see. Taz says if that was the promo to save his life and get a job, well, he's out of his mind. Ryan gets in Taz's face now and has words at him. What, you got something up with me? Taz got angry and voted no. Taz tells Ryan to prove him wrong, hit the road, and come back when he's ready. Ryan continues running his mouth, but still didn't get the job. And they basically just kind of teased a match between the two in my eyes, which was pretty good heat. He did a pretty good job in the ring, but he was actually better than last month's deal, which hasn't seen him wrestle yet. So is this gut check challenge real? They actually get contracts? When do they start? Okay, since they went to a commercial and they got back from the commercial, we see footage of Bobby Roode speaking to fans in London last week, as they were doing some traveling last week for some house shows in London. And AJ Styles versus Daniels was up next. They go to the ring for tonight's main event. Out comes first one half of the TNA Tag Team Champions, Daniels. AJ Styles is out next to a nice reaction from the crowd. Back and forth action to start until AJ takes control. Daniel turns it around with a big right to the face. AJ ended up on the apron, and Daniels knocked him off into the fan barrier. And a perfect time for a commercial break. And back for the break. Daniels is in control of AJ now. Daniels with a moonsault off the ropes for a 2. AJ finally takes Daniels down with a heel kick to the head. AJ unloads on Daniels and powerbombs him for a 2 count. AJ springboards in with a big forearm. Daniels blocks an inverted DDT. AJ connected with a Pele kick. And he goes down for a Styles Clash. But Kazarian gets on the apron. AJ hits him. But Daniels rolls him up for a 2. AJ hits the inverted DDT, this time for the win. So AJ won the match. After the match, Kazarian hits the ring, and the Tag Team Champions beat down AJ. Kurt Angle runs down, makes a save. Angle applies the ankle lock on Kazarian. Daniels runs back in and hits hits Angle with a low blow from behind. They double team Angle now. They use highs and cuff Angle to the bottom rope. AJ tries to make the save, but they lay him out with the title belt. They hit Angle with the title belt also and lay him out. Daniels takes a mic. He has proof positive of the affair between Dixie Carter and AJ Styles. He plays a phone call of AJ calling Dixie and then making plans to get together and keep it from her husband. Dixie runs out and yells for the production people to turn it off. It sounds like she drops an F-bomb and they bleep it. Dixie yells that they are finished and as Impact goes off the air. So if they are finished, are they fired or what? An F-bomb fired or some few F words? I'll just leave it at that because I believe whenever I watched it myself, I think there was a few F words in there. And she could have probably teased on that you keep it up, I will fire you. Well, that ends the results from last week. Peace out. God bless and keep praying for me. I'm still battling my asthma, as you see and hear. I'm doing good to even talk. My throat still hurts from a couple of coughing incidents through the night. Spent quite a long time in the hospital yesterday. Let's see, I got in there at 9:30. I left this morning at 5 a.m. Oh, go figure, LSU Hospital. And I requested to go to Fast Track, not the ER, because I knew ER was going to be a hell of a deal. Well, that ends my taping. Stay tuned for Monday Night Raw results and spoilers for probably 2 matches for Superstars. Peace out.